The following podcast is recommended for mature audiences only. The following podcast is recommended for adults only. Maturity is not a requirement.
Hello and welcome to Dear Download, a podcast about Download Festival, music and the industry, and all other aspects related to rock and heavy metal. This episode we are talking about 10 or so albums that are celebrating turning 20 years old this year. So, of course, that's albums that were released in 2005. I am Adam, and as always, I am here with Simon. How are you doing, my man?
Hello and good day to you, sir.
Hello, good day. How are you doing? And I'm sure a lot of people want to know. A lot of people want to have. A lot of people will want an update on your foot, probably.
Yes, my foot is actually really good. I was actually supposed to play football this week, but it got cancelled. So I will hopefully be back to footy next week. But yeah, it's healed a hell of a lot. Luckily, it wasn't sprained or anything. It was just really badly bruised. So, yeah, it's pretty much, I'm at about 90% now. I can walk on it fine. It's just twisting it to one side still hurts a little bit. I still think there's probably a bit of internal bruising. But apart from that, I'm grand. Yeah, the leg is good. Leg, foot is good. Yeah, what else am I doing? I'm doing the final vocals for my album this weekend. So I'm very excited about that, finishing them off. So that will finally be done. I've been trying to work on this thing for so long, but with having the kid, it's just been impossible to do it. And obviously, of course, I was in the band, so now I've got a lot more of my free time. Band time is used just to work on my Mercury Night stuff. So
yeah, cool.
I'm really happy and proud of it. Yeah, so I can't. The first single is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be out in November. And then I don't know when I'm going to release the album, but I'll put a day out and all that shit. But yeah, working on that. That's about it, really. It is getting a little bit more miserable outside. There's a lot of rain, and tomorrow, Storm Ben is approaching, which will come with it much rain. So that's just going to be even more miserable, I think.
Yeah,
and for you, that's not good because you're just going to get wet.
Yeah. So it just happens to be my day off tomorrow. I don't know how long Ben is going to stick around for. But I found myself talking to people at work, sort of new people, and saying how weirdly dry this year has been. I remember it was very, very wet, some real heavy rain days, probably like last October, November. I have not had a day where I get home absolutely soaked since then. So almost a year. Yeah. You know, there have been some very heavy rain days, but they must have just, there haven't been many of them, but yeah, they just coincided with my days off or something. So yeah, it's been a weird year for...
very dry. Like, we had a proper dry summer. Wasn't really much rain or anything, was there? I think we got away with it. So I think, we are due a serious downpour, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what we should do as well, right?
Rubbish.
When Storm Ben approaches, everyone go on to Ben Chids' social media and his YouTube and just abuse him for the weather, because the storm is non-specific Ben, so we can put our own Ben to it. So we say Ben Chids, this is all your fault. So everyone go on his social media or wherever and just abuse him. I think we'll all do it, right? We'll all abuse him just for the weather. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I think that sounds good. That sounds absolutely fine. So I was going to say, also on the subject of me being a postman, something happened today for the first time in the whole 13 years of me being there. I got mauled by a cat.
Oh!
Stuck my fingers through a letterbox. Posting something, and all of a sudden I was just like this claw. I didn't know what it was to start with. I couldn't see that it was a cat, but there's no marks on the other side. So, it must have been a cat just like clawing me. And it sucked. Luckily, I've got plasters and stuff in my bag. I think it might be infected. So I'm going to go and stick a load of like Dettol in it later on or something, maybe. But yeah, never been bitten by a dog. Never had any injuries because of any animals, which is quite rare. So some of you have probably always wondered, especially you, Simon, unable to sleep at night. Again, unable to sleep at night, thinking, how often do posties get bitten by dogs? And I can tell you it's on average every 4 years. So I've done 13 years without getting bitten. So
wow.
I've
and
done
it was
all
a
right.
cat that attacked you, which is probably the rarity of cats. And I think animals probably don't attack you because you've got quite a calming presence.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk towards someone, you've got quite a... I don't know, I can't read auras, but I'm sure if someone was to read your aura, it would be like a really calm, aura. So probably the animals are looking at you like, this guy's chill, man. This guy's chill. It's cool. I'll bark a little bit because dogs think, they're the bark. I'll bark a little bit, but I'm not going to go for him because this guy's chill. And the cat obviously just saw something coming through and just went, right, whatever coming through here now, I'm having it. It's as simple as that. That's what cats are like. So the cat didn't know it was you. Okay, just think about that.
Yeah, good point. You've made me curious now. I do want somebody who can read auras to come and read my aura. Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember the colours. I think red is bad and blue, yellow, and green are good. I think I can't remember. I remember reading about it about 10 years ago because I was interested in it as well. I wondered what people would think of my aura. But I'd be interested to see what a proper aura reader would say about you.
Yeah. And if anybody does that and there's going to be a download next year, come and see us at the meetup and let us know. Let us know what Aurora.
Yeah, we'd have to go to Glastonbury for that one. I'm not sure we get that download.
True. Yeah.
If we were in Glasgow though, that would be the one thing we would have to tick off the list. Go to someone who can read Adam's aura.
Yeah. Yeah, just weird. I remember seeing a woman in town when I was drinking, probably close to like 20 years ago now. And she just out in a nightclub reading people's palms or drinking. She was like, read your palm. And she was like, oh, you've had a big thing recently. Like, and I had just been in a quite serious car crash. Like, and I was like, how do you know that? We're reading my palm. She's like, what did she say? She was like, you've got a massive, line going through your lifeline.
You've got a massive, what the hell?
Something going through my lifeline, which was big on my hand. I don't know hands. But you are right. Glastonbury is the kind of place you get that because she was from Glastonbury. Did I say that bit?
No. Okay. Well, yeah. Or maybe we should just go to Glastonbury then have to go to the festival. Maybe we should just go there for the day and see if we can find someone to read your aura.
Yeah, we wouldn't need to find them; they'd find us.
They're everywhere. These aura readers, all over Glastonbury. I've only ever driven through, and I've driven past Stonehenge, but I've never actually. You can't really go to it anymore, but I've never been on the same bit of grass as Stonehenge before.
Yeah, I've never been that close.
It does weird stuff to some people, and my ex-missus was very like, even though she was quite chavvy. In a good way, like I'm not saying bad chavvy, but she was a little bit chavvy. But she was all about that summer solstice, fucking go to the rocks and I don't know what the hell they do, all that pagan shit. But yeah,
that's cool. Anyway, we should.
Anyway, why the hell are we talking about?
we have got a couple of things to announce. And do you know what? We can schedule a stop at Stonehenge around a similar kind of time. I've done this in the wrong order, but okay. So we are planning on doing like a meetup. I can't remember what the words you said were.
I said a Dear Download chill session.
No, I'm talking about the Minehead thing. The
buttons. Wait, what are we not going in these orders? Okay.
No, I got it in the wrong order. I was going to say we can schedule it with that one, but I should have talked about the chill session first.
No, go back. Yeah, go back. Don't worry about the other one. Just go to the original setup.
Okay, I'll rewind back again.
Rewind, yeah. Do backwards talking now.
I can't.
You can. That's what you have to do. Come on. Backwards talk.
I might make a fool out of myself when I don't do that sort of thing.
Okay, why don't you just in the edit, just do everything you said backwards. There you go.
Okay, cool. Yes, sounds good. Right. So, yes, we are going to be scheduling a monthly chill session in our Discord. We've talked about it a few times, and it's something we were planning on setting up but never got round to. And then I upset Simon the other day by just saying, "Fuck it, let's do it tonight." Some of you would have seen that. It didn't upset
me. You didn't upset me.
But yeah, so we were thinking, like I said, probably once a month. It'll be on a Friday evening. We'll set a date and a time and put it all in the Discord. And you can come and just chat with us and chill out and play some games. When I was in there the other night, I was checking out some of the games that is integrated into Discord. And there's a few things. There's like mini golf. There's poker, which we said we were definitely going to do a while ago. But you can sort of create your own private table. So it would just be us playing against each other, which would be cool. We'll work something out. But yeah, we'll set a date and a time. And we'll go from there.
Yeah. Chill, have a few drinks. Yeah. Spend some time together outside of festival season.
Yeah. And so that's an excuse that if you are not in the Discord, you need to be. You can find a link to it in the episode description. The other thing that has definitely not been spoiled, is...
Yes, so we have been talking about this a little while, mainly me and Alexander Toon, and we were thinking that this was a really good idea. And a few other people that I talked to about it at Download this year thought that's a great idea. But we have always talked about doing a Butlins adult weekender. So if you don't know, Butlins do adult weekends where there's no children. It's just grown-ups. The entire place basically turns into a festival, essentially. And, you know, sometimes there's loads of bands playing, there's clubs, there's pubs, all sorts of stuff to do there. It's really great. We went for my stag do in 2023 and we had an absolute blast. It was just great fun. So we thought that we would do a Dear Download version of it. So I'll put all the details of it in the Discord, and obviously you guys can, you know, if you do want to come, or like Adam said, if you want to come and you're not in the Discord, this is a great time to join the Discord because you can come in and get all the information. But the preliminary date I was thinking of is there is a bootleg ball weekender going on next October, and that is tribute acts. And I thought that would be perfect for us because it means they would play a bit of everything, you know, rock, pop, you know, whatever. And we want to do it after festival season. We don't want it to coincide with that because we know how much money everyone's spending. So we want to do it after the festival season and before Christmas, where things get more expensive. So at the moment, the Bootleg Ball tribute is on at the 9th to 12th of October 2026. So I think I'm going to make that the date, and that is in Minehead, which is in the southwest of the country. Sorry, everyone in the north. I apologise. But Skegness is by far the worst Butlins. Bognor Regis is the best Butlins, but it's also the most expensive because it's on the south coast. And that's probably the one that's furthest away from everyone. And Minehead is still cheap, but we've been there before and we know it's really good. So I feel like the date's right, the place is right. So you might have to drive a little bit, but for 3 days with all of us together, it will be just an unbelievable time. So, you know, I'll sort out all the details in the Discord. Basically, it will just be us in apartments, or you can book a separate room if you don't want to stay with everyone. But it will be a hell of a load of fun. And yeah, I just think it's something that we should have done this year, but we didn't get around to it. So if you do want to come, I'll put the post in there, then just say, and then I will message you all in a WhatsApp group separately about going.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So yeah, it was an incredibly good time at your stag do, and it's a really good idea. Like you said, we should have done it this year. We had the idea to do it this year, but it just nobody ever sort of took the reins and went, "This is what we're doing this weekend. Book it if you want to come." And so you're doing that now, which is great.
Yes,
and I am so looking forward to it.
Yeah,
really looking forward to it.
It's a good weekend. It's cheap as well. I mean, at the moment, it's £76 per person for this bootleg ball, which is the cheapest it is because it's not actual bands. It's not actual bands playing. It's tribute bands playing, so they can't really charge it much. But that might go up depending on what rooms we all get. But I would say anywhere between £76 and £100 is all you will be spending to book this weekend. Obviously, whatever we spend next October is whatever we spend. But it's not much to book Butlins. It really isn't. It's a shithole, but it's fucking amazing. It's great fun. The beach is right there. I know. The beach is right there. You can visit it. I know it's going to be October, but it really is worth it. So if you do want to come and hang out with everyone, and basically do a download meet, but for 3 days, which will be, I think, carnage. So I'm actually quite excited about it already. Yeah. So but anyway, all the details will be in Discord. We'll stop talking about it, but yes.
Cool. So we've got a load of albums to talk about. I just got a couple of things I want to say before then. Sort of linked in a little bit. So obviously, I haven't actually been listening to a lot of music recently. I know I've definitely said I've been listening to my Dungeons and Dragons podcast. But since I finished the first campaign of that, I haven't been interested in listening to music that much. Especially at work. Maybe because it's starting to get busier. But this is the first time, again, pretty much since I started, I've been walking around with no music on.
That's weird.
I haven't had the urge to put music on. But obviously listening to these albums again, it gets to the end of the album and stuff comes on randomly. And something that came on for a while now, El Nino has been coming on randomly for me.
Oh, nice.
Which is weird. I mean, it's really good stuff. I really liked one of their earlier albums. Was it Revolution? But I never really delved into them, so I don't really know why they're showing up for me. I don't think they're one of the bands that sort of are massively popular still, although they probably are quite popular. But I've loved every single thing I've heard from them in the random things.
Their first 3 albums are all just banger after banger after banger. So yeah, they were huge. That first album was massive. They got radio play, Kerrang, everything. They're all over the place. So and it is in the same vein with a lot of stuff that you do listen to. So I'm actually surprised that you probably haven't been recommended stuff by them before, really.
Yeah. I mean, I probably have, but just not at this amount. Not this much. And I'm just all of the songs that come on that I haven't heard before, I'm just oh, this is a really good song. This is a really good song. And it's
I've done a video about ranking my new metal albums. I can't remember where I ranked Revolution, but it was quite high. And I consider that to be, that's a 10 out of 10 new metal album. There's no two ways about it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ahead of its time, because his screaming is unreal. Literally, I have a song called Unreal. Literally unreal. And the guitars and everything. It was new metal, but it was heavier than that. It was more in the sort of Sepultura kind of vein of stuff.
Of course.
I think
Brazilian.
Yeah, I think it was a bit. Yeah. But I definitely think that they should have been huge. They should have been up there with the big bands. Actually, I'll get to them in a second because I've actually got to mention them.
Okay, cool.
Weirdly,
still weirdly, yeah. Still a couple more bits. So another band that came on randomly after listening to the Story of the Year album that we're going to talk about was Lost Prophets. About 5 days before he was killed, which is weird. So I want to talk about this
weird
because somebody put it in our Discord as well that they were played through Spotify through the AI DJ thing, and he was like, "What? Why? What are you talking about? What are you playing that for?" And then I think it was about 5 days after that it happened to me twice in one day, and I was like, "What?" And that all those 3 instances, I probably got the days wrong, but they all happened within about a week of Ian Watkins being killed in prison, which is weird.
That is weird.
They've not come up randomly since then. No. It was such a big thing for me that day that I said to the girl I was working with, I was like, Lost Prophets just came on randomly, and she's Polish, she had no idea. It was probably big news over there, but maybe not so much as big here. So I got back to the office, and I had to find people who were into the same kind of music as us, and I went and told them, and they went, and I was like, you know what he did, right? And they were like, no, what? And I was like, what? How is this not big, massive news to everyone? Everyone should know. And then that was the Saturday. That was a Saturday at work, and the news came out on the Sunday that he'd been killed. Or was it the Saturday? It might have been the same day.
Well, weirdly, what I said I was talking about this to Vicky. So this is after he died. I said this to her, but I said the algorithm on Spotify doesn't know what he's done.
No.
So it's just recommending his music because they're similar to other bands, and obviously they were a huge band, but like it doesn't say in their Spotify description what he done. So an 18-year-old today, they don't know who the fuck Ian Watkins is. They have no idea who he is or what he's. Why would they?
No,
that's
exactly.
like saying you'd know some, I don't know, what some guy in a funk band in the 70s done. You're not going to know, are you?
No.
You have no idea.
Right.
So that's exactly it. So a Lost Prophets song come on, and we'll admit they have loads of good songs. A song comes on, a kid goes, "That's a really good song." Goes on their Spotify and listens to more. So, and then the algorithm goes, "Hold on a minute, this guy's listening to a lot of similar stuff." And Lost Prophets are getting quite a few listens recently, and then that's it. Bang, you've got a Lost Prophets song. So
yeah, it was like
but it is a weird coincidence. Some things are just general coincidences.
Yeah, and I think it was like, obviously everyone's asking the question, can you listen to them now? And a lot of people are listening to them again. And I think within a couple of days, the monthly listeners jumped up by like 200,000 people. So exactly like you said, Spotify algorithm is going, this band is popular all of a sudden. We're going to show them to other people, which is weird. But also I think it's the fact that those two people, like I said, they were younger people. They had no idea. It's a good thing because that means people aren't talking about him, which is great.
Yes.
But obviously, that was before he was killed. So yeah.
Well, yeah. No one's really mentioned. No one mentioned. I mean, they mentioned him every now and then. He got mentioned a little bit in 2023, I think it was, when he got stabbed in prison.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that for a while, and then then no one mentions him again, and then obviously people are mentioning because he's been killed because that is actual news. That is actual news. But yeah, so weird.
It's weird.
So weird that I've shaken his hand twice.
Have you?
Been in the same room as this guy. I've got his autograph downstairs multiple times. I mean, I was a huge Lost Prophets fan. I had posters of them all over my wall. It's just really strange to have had that as a kid. Yeah. Then this happens, and now he doesn't exist anymore. It's just all so like trippy how things can change.
Yeah.
Within the space of 20 years. Like, what the hell kind of thing. Like, very weird. I don't want to sit and think about stuff like that too much because it starts to freak me out.
Yeah, cool. Oh, let's move on. Download Festival have put a video out.
They have. They have.
Yes. So I managed to. It's a weird video. Not a lot happens. Everyone's speculating what it could mean and everything. I think it means nothing. And you pointed something out in the Discord before we actually spoke about it. I think it's basically them going, hey, look, there's a person in this. This isn't AI. We're not using AI for everything. And that's all it is for. I think it's just to get away from the AI conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, let's be honest. This is the first, excuse me, generally intriguing and good thing that the Download social media team has done since the last download ended. So what they should have done, sorry, I know we all know they listen to this as well, right? But this is great. This is good work. Like, not everyone knocks it out of the park all the time, and that's just what happens. I always give Download. It's always it's criticism, but it's constructive criticism. I would never, I want the festival to be the best festival it can, which is why I criticize it, because I feel like it needs it sometimes. And this is a really cool video that's intriguing and gets a lot of people talking. Do this. Don't announce an announcement. Just put out a cool video to say, we're announcing it on this date, guys, with an intriguing video. That's what gets people talking. Not, hey, guys, on whatever time we're going to announce when the announcement comes out. That is just awful. That's terrible. Doing this is cool. No matter what the video is, and no matter how many ridiculous, conversations this has started, it started something. Yeah. Which is what it's supposed to do when you're trying to big up your festival. So, but I liked it. But I think, like you, it has absolutely no relevance. I wrote in a Discord earlier today, they done the underwater theme, and that had no relevance to any bands playing. Yeah. So I think that the whole fire thing is just a theme. I think they're doing themed downloads now. There was a water theme last year. It's a fire theme, whatever hot rock volcano theme this year. I don't think it has anything to point towards any of the bands that are playing.
Yeah, I completely agree. One of the things in the video is like a ring sinking into, I think it's a ring, sinking into lava, and I actually sort of put it into my video editing software, blew it up, changed the colors around a bit, and it says download. Well, you can read the unload, and then what was it? Forged by leg, and then on one of the other sides it said something. Yeah, forged by, and you can't read the bottom bit. I think it's meant to just say forged by legends. They're going along the same lines of the people of download kind of thing. Basically talking about us, talking like we are the legends. Unless they're talking about the booking team or the team that make download, who are probably
they're
also
bigging
legends.
They're bigging themselves up in the video. They're formed by legends. That's us because we book it. That would be fantastic if they were just bigging themselves up. I'm all here for that.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had to go back on that because I thought, are they going to be talking about us or? Oh no, never mind. Yeah, or themselves. Ignore me because I didn't mean us, the fans.
The fans. Yeah,
and
not us.
I got
we're not
caught
that,
up
we're not that.
in me and you then for a second.
We're too big for our britches. They're not talking about us specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about us as in we make up for the general public they go to download.
Yeah.
Not us as in they're just talking about me and you.
Yeah. When I said that bit, my
great.
brain went to me and you, and I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to say. Crap. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about. But as always, Simon will take us through a bit of memory lane from 2005. What was happening in the world? What were we doing? All that kind of stuff.
Yes, I do have a couple of bits. First of all, what were you... Well, I didn't want to ask in the last one because in 1995 we were both very, very young. But what were you doing in 2005? What was your life like in 2005? Just give us a quick overview of what your life was like in 2005.
I was in college studying music.
Living at home, I take it?
Yeah.
Yeah, living at home. And at this point, you'd been to 2 downloads.
Yeah.
2003, 2004.
Yeah.
And then 2005, obviously.
Yeah. And Ozfest.
Because, I mean, we should just... Oh, and of course. And we should mention, obviously, 2005... This was my very first download in 2005, so that's what I was doing, getting... it was quite sunny that year, I remember, but it rained on the Sunday, I think, didn't it, when Slipknot played? But yeah.
Don't fucking know. You know all that stuff.
I do. My first festival experience came in 2005, and I was going to say, I think it was the second or third band I watched at download was Il Nino, so that was a good link back to what you were saying, which is
nice.
Quite weird. But anyway, in the world, in the greater... universe, apart from me and Adam, what was happening in 2005? Well, things that were happening all over the place. One of the things I vividly remember, and is on here, the 7/7 bombings on the London Underground. Do you remember that?
Yeah, just about, yeah.
At the time, I was doing a Lord of the Rings marathon with my girlfriend at the time, and we stopped in between movies. I can't remember which 2 it was. I don't know what we were doing. We just had the TV on just in between. I think we were making food or something. And it came on about the bombings. Obviously, living in London, it was like, holy shit, I hope no one I know was on there kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I always have a vivid memory of that. We were having a Lord of the Rings marathon. We went back to it afterwards. One of the most important things that affects almost all of our lives these days, YouTube became live in 2005.
Yeah.
With the famous At the Zoo video.
Yeah,
of course,
I watched that a couple of weeks back.
Did you?
Yeah. And I remember noticing like 19 or 20 years old, 20 years ago, in that one thing underneath.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
mad that YouTube's been around for that long. But obviously now, one of the biggest platforms ever. But it was cool when it first came out. Another big deal, and personally, one of my favourite consoles of all time, the Xbox 360 was released, which is a stonker of a console that I still play to this day, because it's just some of the best games ever. Actually, Stu was showing us his Xbox collection the other day, and I've got a couple of games to bring him when we go up and see Chids later in the year, because we still love our Xbox. Only one more disaster thing, but everyone will remember it. Hurricane Katrina devastated the New Orleans, if everyone remembers that as well.
I do remember
Obviously,
that as well. Yeah.
Didn't mean anything to us here, but it was really bad. Pretty much destroyed just the entire state. And I can't remember how many people were homeless, but people were like sleeping in football stadiums because there was just like no one's homes were left. Pretty devastating. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston divorced, which was very, very big news at the time. Friends had finished a year before this, so I don't know what Jennifer Aniston was doing at this point. And the US Office premiered, one of my personal favourite sitcoms of all time.
Never seen
And I'll just quickly run through the highest grossing movies in order. So highest grossing movies of 2005, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Did you go and see that one at the cinema?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I did. Very good.
Yeah.
Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Did you see that at the cinema?
No, I've never seen that.
Oh my God. Weirdly, I was at a Revenge of the Sith party. It was after a night out in London, and Chris Jericho was doing the DJing.
Cool.
Just a weird thing that happened. And I shook his hand, and he had a really, really strong grip. And his forearms were fucking huge. What else we got? Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe. War of the Worlds, which personally is up there for me in Tom Cruise movies. Fucking amazing. King Kong, Madagascar, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Batman Begins, and Hitch, which were the... So that means, wait, I saw like 5 of them in the cinema. I must have been going to the cinema a lot in 2005, probably.
I didn't see any of
but
them
that's
in the
my
cinema.
little... None of them.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God,
do
yeah. We were
love
going to
Hitch,
cinema a
though.
lot, I think.
Do love
Yeah,
Hitch.
it's weirdly good, isn't it?
Film, yeah.
Yeah, it's weirdly good. I don't know why. The premise is like, but it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. Before we get to these albums, I have 1, 2, 3, 4... I have a couple of honourable mentions to put in.
Okay.
So honourable mentions that we're not going to talk about, but are good albums from 2005. Disturbed 10,000 Fists, I think is probably the second best Disturbed album, next to The Sickness. Really, really good. Avenged Sevenfold City of Evil, which again is a really good album, but we have already talked about it in length, so we're not going to talk about it again. System of a Down, Mesmerize.
Yeah, and Hypnotize. I
Hypnotize.
Shocked when I didn't see them on the list.
Yeah, but oh well. We don't have to talk about System of a Down. I'm sure when they headline Download, we'll be doing a special about them at some point.
Cool. Sounds good.
One of my personal favourite albums ever, Devin Townsend, Strapping Young Lad, Alien, called a masterpiece by Steve Vai, and I think Steve Vai is the greatest guitarist ever, so pretty good. Chimera's self-titled album came out, and that is a beast of a metal album. And 9 Inch Nails with Teeth, which I recommend if you like your nin. So, let's talk albums, shall we?
Cool, yeah.
Are you ready? How was your overall experience with these albums?
Yeah, mostly good. Mostly positive. I strongly agree. I think. I need to get a list up. I didn't actually get a chance to write my notes down for this lot, like I did for the last ones. So let's have a look. Yes, very good. Mostly very good. Yeah, I would say, yeah, mostly very good.
Okay. Well, I've got an order here, so we'll start with that. So let's start with Bullet. Well, I mean, they played Download this year. Let's start with Bullet for My Valentine.
Yeah.
The Poison. So this album combines the riffs. This is how I've always felt about this. Riffs of Machine Head, harmonies of Iron Maiden, and the sort of metal and emo combination of what was going on at the time. It's like a perfect mix of those things. I think culminating in one of the best British metal albums of the 2000s, but probably one of the best British metal albums ever. I think it would probably make the top 50 at least. I'm not saying it's up there with an Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast or anything, but I'm saying that in a top 50, this probably should be in the conversation when it comes to British metal, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, this album was massively successful as soon as it came out. Sold a ton of copies. I think it's gone silver or gold because they sold so many. Massive in America as well. This got really big airplay in America. And their sort of next logical step from their EP, because their EP, they played Download in 2004 from an EP.
Yeah.
I think, actually, no, when they played in 2005, I'm not even sure if the album was even out then. So this band had got massively popular from 4 songs, and then they brought out the album.
Yeah. What was the EP called?
Hand of Blood.
Hand of Blood. Okay, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, they just got huge all of a sudden. Like, and I mean, we'll talk about a similar thing when we talk about Trivium.
Yeah,
some of these bands just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, they're just here and they're huge. Where have they been? Nowhere. They've just appeared. So the EP already had them playing huge shows. I mean, this album, huge hooks, great guitar solos, breakdowns. I mean, the crazy thing about this album is it's still resonating with kids today. You know, like, kids are still listening to this album fresh.
Yeah.
Certainly one of my favorites. I mean, a massive mark. I was a huge mark for Bullet back in the day. Got loads of fond memories of this time, this album, and I still think this album is absolutely fantastic top to bottom. And we heard it this year at Download, and it sounded very, very good live. So, Adam, what do you think of Bullet by Valentine and Lay Poison?
Yeah, so you might be surprised by this, or you might not be surprised in the slightest, that I had never listened to this album in full as an album before.
I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised. But when I did listen through it, I knew every song anyway, except for one. It might have been the last one, I'm not sure. So, I mean, I had heard it loads and loads to be able to recognise which the songs were. Fucking incredible. I was a big fan of Trivium's Ascendancy, like you just said, we'll talk about, because they seem to be parallel to each other, pretty much on the same path.
Yeah.
I think I preferred this album to Ascendancy, and I loved Ascendancy, but listening to this as an album, as a proper album, I was just like, it's just incredible. It just blew me away. And like you said, it still stands the test of time. It sounds like it could have been released yesterday. It still sounds so good. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, it literally hasn't lost a step in 20 years. It still sounds just as fresh. The guitar riffs still sound just as awesome. The solos are still badass. I think that's just because it had a little bit of a foot in the past and then a foot in what they were doing at the time as well.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's something bands just don't do enough these days, is just go back a little. Sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, obviously they were huge, you know, Maiden, Metallica, you know, all the classic sort of 80s metal bands. And they thought, well, let's do that, but let's just add let's put some screaming over it. Let's put some emo style vocals over it, you know, what everyone's kind of doing now. And it's just like, which is why it just blew up so quickly. They just came from nowhere. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, playing festivals, they're selling out shows, they're sold out Brixton for like 3 nights in a row. It's something fucking stupid like that. It's like, how are they so big all of a sudden? I went to a sign-in 2005. The queue was like pretty much half of Oxford Street just to get in to meet Bullet by Valentine. I couldn't believe how big this band had got, like, just suddenly. It was just crazy. Yeah, really cool. But a really good study. And like you said, you hadn't listened to it through it before. I think people that like Bullet should listen to this album all the way through and see if there's anything else on there that takes your fancy. But it just shows how much of these songs have been played all over the place, because you pretty much knew all the songs.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly where I was going with it. Like, you know, if there's an album you haven't heard, you probably would have heard the singles, not every single album track as well, you know. So that just kind of took me a surprise. I'm like, oh, I know this one. Not much more to say apart from absolute masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece.
Masterpiece. I like that. No, I like that. We'll keep that. Absolute masterpiece of an album. It really is. And it was great. It was good fun to hear it live this year and think, fuck me, these songs still sound really good. And like I said before, all the kids were loving it. They're loving it. Like, you know, it just shows, doesn't it? Like, it still resonates with people now, this one.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. I'm going to listen to it some more.
Fuck yeah. Hell's yeah. All right, cool. We will move on. Let's move on next to DevilDriver, The Fury of Our Maker's Hand. So we've already spoken about how much of a fan we are of the first album, because it's an absolute fucking stonker of an album, the first one. Really good. I think this one continues in pretty much the same vein. You know, same crushing riffs, drumming's insane. I mean, you can always tell when he's got one of the most distinctive voices in metal.
Yeah.
You can tell it's him instantly. There's no one that sounds like him. He doesn't sound like anyone else. You know, he sits up there with, in distinctiveness, your Chesters, you know, your Jonathan Davises, your Corey Taylors, your Des. He's up there with one of the most recognizable voices in metal, I think. Back in full force. I think this one, what it differs from the first album is it has some melodic elements. Not that any of the songs slow down, but I think they use different sort of guitar sounds and stuff to give you, I don't know, a little bit more dimension maybe than they tried to on the first album. But it still blends and it's still metal as hell. The whole point of a DevilDriver album is to make the pits go crazy. That's the only reason DevilDriver exists. And you can't not bang your head to these songs. You're literally just like, oh my God. Like the drumming on this album is just on a whole nother level. I always think DevilDriver have been underrated. But yeah, like the track Hold Back the Day is a great example of sort of, it's like a nice little timestamp of where metal was at the time and how good it could be and how you could have screaming and guitar solos and ridiculous drumming and be a big band as well. And you kind of think to yourself, from the 2000s to now, where did it all go wrong? Question mark. Like, if this is what metal was like 20 years ago, and now it sounds like Bad Omens, what went wrong? And that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Before I go on to this, it's funny that after we finished recording the last episode, we stopped recording and then carried on talking about the albums and what we listened to. And I'm not sure if we've ever done that before. But yeah, one of the things that came up was, like, I've missed guitar solos. You don't hear them that often anymore. And if you do, they're, shorter. Key changes are being forgotten. Nobody's doing them in pop 100%. Anymore. I don't know about, rock, but I do like a key change.
Yes.
How do you know when to stand up from your chair? But yeah, no, it's interesting.
It's because when all these new bands are programming everything into Ableton, they don't know what a key change is. That's what it is.
Yeah, you could be right there. But clearly, you can clearly analyze these stuff way more than I can. I'm not going to try to talk exactly on the same level as you.
It's good. I like it.
But you're right. I've forgotten where I was going with that.
Yeah, but anyway, okay, well, maybe you'll get back to it. What did you think of DevilDriver, The Fury of Our Maker's Hand? And did you, because I know you're the one album guy.
Yeah.
I take it you didn't listen to this album at the time.
I'd listened to some of it. So, well, not at the time.
Okay.
I didn't discover DevilDriver until I was at university, which was about 2009, I think it was. And so at that point, Spotify had come out, and so I listened to all of their stuff. I'd go onto their Spotify page, just hit random and hit play, and it would just play all their stuff randomly. Or it might have been something like This Is DevilDriver. So I knew a lot of these songs from playing randomly. I never would have listened to the album in full.
Yeah.
But I forgot how much I loved a lot of these songs as well, though. I think I listened to the wrong album to start with.
Did you?
I think so. I think I listened to...
What were you listening to?
I'll have to find it. Because it wasn't the one that I already knew very, very well. Sorry, give me a second. I got to find it.
Did you start listening to Last Kind Words rather than Fury of Our Maker's Hand?
I think I might have done. It was like a yellowy cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Last Kind Words. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you went, hold a minute, this came out in 2007. This isn't what we're talking about.
And there wasn't as many I knew on Last Kind Words. So I was like, okay, yeah, it was okay. But then when I actually listened to the proper one, Fury of Our Maker's Hand, Grin Fucked. I fucking love that song. Hold Back the Day. Like
it's so good.
Sin of Sacrifice. Yeah. Just all of it. So good. I really like DevilDriver from a few years after this.
Yeah. I mean, underrated. And I think in the early, from what 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, they were pretty much a staple of download for, a good 6 years, weren't they? They were on every other year.
Yeah.
And they absolutely smashed it every single time. I remember talking to people at the festival, and people would be like, I'm just excited for DevilDriver. Everyone would just be like, fucking DevilDriver. Because they were just so insane live. The crowd, I'd never seen metal crowds go as mental back in the day as I saw people go at DevilDriver.
Yeah.
It's like they were losing their fucking minds for this band. Which is just crazy that, again, they're not, they're still a big band. People still know who they are. They're not massive,
No.
because They really are that good. And I think they're quite consistent up to, I think they've only got one album that's a bit but all the rest is, pretty solid to fucking, incredible. So it's a bit of a shame they're not as big. But yeah, there's loads of songs I like off this album. End of the Line is a classic. I always remember that. Grim Fucked is great. Hold Back the Day. What I've got, Pale Horse Apocalypse, Just Run, and I think one of the most underrated songs, but everyone knows it because they play it live. But Before the Hangman's Noose.
Yes.
Woo! Holy hell, that song is unbelievable.
That was the one they did the Circle Pit to in 2007, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was that, and then the year before, no, 2009, it was Meet the Wretched.
Okay.
Yeah. That is like, I always remember when they were getting it going, and there's the bit in the song where he goes, shit, and he just done that, and then the whole crowd was just like, boom. I was like, yeah. So, yeah, it's a shame we haven't got DevilDriver more in the last few years, but Des has had some illness complications. I think they are back to playing, but I think he had a stent put in his heart.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he had some heart issues. I think he's over them now. I think he's fully back, excuse me, to fitness. I think they're making a new album and everything. So fingers crossed at some point in the future, we will get DevilDriver back at download and we can all get in the pit like we were 21 again and kill ourselves, basically.
No, I'm not. I can't do that.
I don't care how old I am. No, I don't care how old I am. If there's a DevilDriver pit at download, I am going into it and I don't care.
Cool.
It's as simple as that. You have to relive some of those moments.
I'll stand next to you with like the magic sponge, waiting.
It'll be just like football. I'll get in there and fuck my ankle straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, overview. Very good album. If you love your really fucking good headbanging metal, you should check out any DevilDriver album, but that one is a very good one. Next up, we have Porcupine Tree with Deadwing. Did you know who Porcupine Tree were, or have you ever heard of them before?
I had heard of them before. I'd never tried listening to them before this.
Okay, let's go. So Porcupine Tree, Deadwing, a very underrated album from Porcupine Tree. Porcupine Tree are known as the most important band you've never heard of.
Okay.
Because they're so beloved by every muso, except, they are big, but they're not like, people just don't know who Porcupine Tree are, which is gobsmacked when you realise how good they are. So this album is based on a screenplay, weirdly. So the band had done a couple of albums before this, obviously. They tried to write a screenplay for a movie that didn't get picked up, and they said, hey, let's just turn it into an album. So it's sort of like a ghost story all the way through. I haven't read into... I know a lot of the lyrics, but I should really listen to it on Spotify while reading all the lyrics so I can get a gist of what the story is sort of unfolding.
Yeah.
But that's a cool idea anyway. A absolute tour de force of prog rock / metal. I mean, there isn't anywhere this album doesn't go, from the most subtle, lovely moments to pure riffage and everything in between. It just delves everywhere. And it's an album that kept me coming back over and over again. Being a muso, every time you listen to this album, you hear something new. You hear something you haven't heard before. It's one of those kind of albums where it's just layers on layers and layers.
Yeah, okay.
And definitely one of my favourites of the genre. Like if you like, Opeth or any of those sort of prog rock or metal bands, I think this is a band and an album that you should definitely... Ben Chids, if you're listening to this and you haven't heard Porcupine Tree, Deadwing, I know for a fact you will love this album because it's right up your alley. But yes, what did you think of Porcupine Tree, Deadwing? I was thinking to myself, listen to this, I have no fucking idea what Adam's going to think of this album. Because it's so weird.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
It took me massively by surprise. So I have heard of them because of a good friend of mine, Mike Ferris, also a Patreon, absolute legend of a guy. And he was obsessed with Dream Theater for the longest time, and all of a sudden he's talking about Porcupine Tree. So and I heard they're prog, so I just assumed they're kind of Dream Theater-esque. I stuck them on and I'm like, this is weird. This is not what I was expecting. I lasted 4 or 5 songs before I turned it off. I know Tommy didn't look very happy.
You didn't even get to the heavy stuff.
Wow, they should have put the heavy stuff at the beginning.
They build up to it. It's prog. They're all weirdos. They don't care about putting it first.
All weirdos. No, I'm not saying I wouldn't try Porcupine Tree again. I feel pretty stupid for not finishing the album for this. But I turned it off, went to listen to some more of the albums that we were supposed to be listening to, and just never got around to getting back to them. But like I said, I would try them again in a better kind of headspace of knowing what I might likely hear.
Yeah, I suppose you probably have to be in the mood for prog, and because I already know the album like the back of my hand, I already knew what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I knew when to put it on. And, not everyone likes prog rock or metal, so I guess that if you're in the mood for it and you put it on, you might go, oh, actually, this is exactly what I was asking for.
Yeah.
But if you're not in the mood, if you put it on, I mean, it is a weird album, so I can understand why you wouldn't. But I can understand why someone wouldn't like this album, because it's not for everyone, which I get, which is why I was so intrigued to think, oh, this is so weird, man. I wonder what he's going to think about this one.
Yeah, I was looking forward to listening to him, because I was like, I've heard of this band a long, long time ago. It probably was around the same kind of time this was out, but never.
Yeah, it was done well at the time, so your mate probably liked it when it came out.
Yeah, nothing else to say on Porcupine Tree
at
the minute.
Well, if you like your prog stuff, I do recommend Porcupine Tree Deadwing. It is definitely one of my favourites out of the entire genre.
You have to give me another album to listen to as well. Maybe a couple of different types.
Yeah, the one after this is really good as well. So
okay.
I'll send you that one.
Yeah.
Right, from something that Adam didn't like to something I know he likes. Let's do Story of the Year in the Wake of Determination.
Yeah.
Here we go. So, obviously my first listen. So the band's second album, a great blend of post-hardcore, emo with heavy guitars, like a weird mix, but it kind of works. I got a lot of Used vibes from this. Not that they sound similar to them, but the sort of vibe I got from them was Used, the early Used-esque, which I liked because I love the Used. You sort of, you're kind of emo vocals, but then blended with he just suddenly screams. Which I think works really well because sometimes it does sort of catch you by surprise. I like when it does that. A very easy listen from beginning to end. I don't think it dips in quality at all. Big catchy hooks, really, really good songwriting. I was thoroughly entertained listening to it all the way through. It's the first time I've listened to this album. If I would have heard this at the time, I would have been massively into this band. But it's just one of those that passed me by, unfortunately, because I was already in the wake of Trivium, Bullet, fucking Bleeding Through, blah, blah. I always had so many bands going on at the time that it's just one of those ones that passed me by, unfortunately. But I thought it was fucking excellent and really, really good, really, really good band. So I would definitely now go and check out their other stuff to see how they progressed from this, basically. But Adam, we know that you like this band. Tell us how much you like Story of the Year in the Wake of Determination.
I really, really, really like Story of the Year. No, I absolutely love Story of the Year. I think the biggest album, definitely over here, but probably everywhere, was the album before this, which was Page Avenue. Most people would know it. Most people who are fans would say it is their favourite album. And I think that might be why this one didn't quite do so well, and they maybe sort of fell off a lot of people's radars as well.
Right.
If it was received, I honestly, I don't know. So I wasn't sort of as big in the whole of music as you were. I heard little snippets from people, or do you know what I mean? So I wasn't aware of what was going on in the wider world. I'm just sort of taking a guess at what happened here. But yeah, I assume they dipped, and a lot of people lost interest in them because it wasn't as good as Page Avenue. But this is what I discovered them from, specifically from the song We Don't Care Anymore. I think that was a single they brought out from it. And from that single, I fell in love with them, listened to this album over and over and over again. Pretty much everything else they've done since as well, I've loved. Even albums that, I didn't care for at the time, I've gone back to and gone, oh, this is a really good album, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I was intrigued to hear what you thought, because I didn't think you'd heard it before.
No, I did. One of the ones they had a video for, one of the singles.
Yeah.
I had heard. I don't know where I heard it, but the hook. I knew the hook. I was like, I recognise that. So I've obviously heard it before, or I saw it on Kerrang or Scuzz back in the day, or someone I know was playing it, or whatever. So I did recognise one of them, but obviously all the rest of the songs, no idea. Hadn't heard any of them before. But I was, I thought it was going to be good anyway, because I kind of had an idea of what they were.
Yeah.
But like listen to it. It was awesome, dude. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And like I said, like I like this sort of stuff, and I liked this sort of stuff at the time. It's just a shame that I never, discovered it then, because I would have been like, oh, I'm going to go to the store and buy that album.
Yeah, yeah,
straight away.
Definitely. I mean, like we said earlier, I was exactly the same listening to Bullet as well. I was like, why didn't I try to listen to this in full at the time? I would be one of the biggest Bullet fans. In this day and age, still, if I had listened to that properly at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, but you can't listen to everything.
No.
You can't listen to everything. You can't be a fan of everything. There's just no time. I mean, I know we had more time back in the day, but there's definitely not time to do that now. Let's just say
we have more time, but we didn't have as much money. And I know we've said there's loads on the podcast before, but there might be new people listening who might not have heard us say it. But this was a time before Spotify. You said YouTube started this year. So there was no music on YouTube. There was no music videos. Spotify, you can get anything you want to listen to on Spotify now. If you want to listen to stuff like this at the time, you had to buy the album.
Spotify wouldn't exist for like 3 more years, and everyone else probably wouldn't have even got it till like 2010, 11, 12. Yeah. So we at this point, it was just, if you liked something, you had to gamble and go and buy the CD. If you hadn't already heard it because your mate bought it, you were taking a gamble off of a single to go and buy a CD.
Yeah.
So
and that's exactly what I did with the Story of the Year album. I had the physical CD, carried it around in my Discman everywhere.
Nice.
It was so good. And nice. Again, maybe that's another reason why it didn't take off as much. Maybe there was other albums that were released that people wanted to buy at the same week or the same month, so it just wasn't bought as much, which is. It was weird. Again,
I mean, there was a lot of good stuff out at this time, and there was a lot of bands probably competing within the same sort of thing that they were doing. So you're right, there probably was a lot of competition at this point.
Yeah, and it's like you said earlier, an 18-year-old has no idea what the world was like when you couldn't get any music you wanted for free, or paying for Spotify Premium or YouTube or whatever. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird to think about.
Yeah. It was kind of cool, but also it kind of sucked at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, it was cool. It was nice, but it was also like, oh man, what would I do now without Spotify? So yeah, it's like a double-edged sword.
We couldn't do this episode, or these 3 episodes.
No, God. Well, we'd have to be in the same room.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to release it on YouTube. Because it's starting in 2005.
Yeah, it would cost us a lot of money to buy all these albums to listen to them.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, probably had half of these, but yeah. Anyway, folks, so yes, very good album. We both approve. Go and check that one out. It is worth your time, definitely. Right, let's move on to Mudvayne, Lost and Found. It is Mudvayne. So this one, I hadn't listened to this one in, I'm not going to say since it came out, but maybe a couple of years afterwards. I haven't listened to this album all the way through since then.
Yeah.
The main thing I remember about this album in my memory, if you had asked me before listening to it, is so many of these songs were used by WWE in the 2000s.
Were they?
I'm pretty sure almost every other pay-per-view in the 2000s was a Mudvayne song from this album. Or that's just my memory of it anyway, because they just used so many of these.
Yeah.
But talking about the album itself, much more simple than the album that came before it. I think they tried to expand their sound. So LD50, obviously the first album, was great, and it was quite complex in parts. Yeah. But on the next album, The End of All Things, they really tried to sort of go a lot more proggy. And a lot of people didn't like that album. It didn't sort of do as commercially well. I still think it's a good album, but it didn't do as commercially well. So I think on this one, instead of getting a bit messy with the whole prog thing, they just said, look, let's just write some simple, good Mudvayne songs. And I think they work really well. Yeah, good performances throughout, really good catchy hooks, great guitar work. The songs are just really well written. They flow quite well. Obviously, I watched them at Download in 2005, and watching them play Happy is still one of my most vivid memories of download, even though it was from my first download. I don't know why I was so present and conscious within that moment, but I can still imagine myself standing at the main stage watching them play Happy. So it's just one of those things that's always stuck with me for some reason. I don't know, some moments in your life you're just more present than others.
Yeah.
For some sort of strange reason. And I was very, very present for their rendition of Happy. But yeah, I think it's a really, really good album, and I listened to it in a long, long time, and I favourited quite a lot of the songs that I hadn't heard in a while. Adam, what do you think of Mudvayne's Lost and Found?
So this album was my favourite Mudvayne album. At the time. I never got into LD50. I think I might have listened to it a couple of times at the time. I couldn't get into it. And what was after that? The End of All Things to Come. I bought it because Not Falling was on it. I couldn't really get into the rest of it.
Oh, okay.
But this album, I absolutely loved it, and I played it loads and loads and loads. Like you said, Happy. I think I didn't listen to Happy for quite a few years, and it's a similar thing. Like, I forgot how good a song Happy was.
Oh, yeah.
And it just makes you feel happy. Like, how?
Yeah.
But again, another thing I've said on here before, I loved the bass, Mudvayne's bassist, like how he's doing his own little thing, but it seems to work. And when I was in a band, obviously I was nowhere near as good as him, but I kind of tried styling my writing similar to their writing.
Nice.
And I think, Choices, I think, was probably my favourite song of theirs. But yeah, so many good songs on there. Forget to Remember, TV Radio, Rain, Sun, Gone. I remember. Just looking at the names at the minute, I'm sure I'll know and love all of them, but they're the ones that stick out at the minute. Choices, yeah, just the bass in that was amazing. So yeah, I love this album. That's all. I have no more. I
agree.
I can say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, LD50 for me was like the one, because I got that when it came out, and obviously Slipknot's album hadn't been out long at that point. It'd been out about a year, and I listened to those two albums back to back. I mean, my room was essentially Mudvayne and Slipknot posters and Iron Maiden posters. Like, you would not believe the amount of Mudvayne and Slipknot that were all over my walls in the early 2000s. So I really loved those bands, and I like The End of All Things to Come. But I think you can pick from it. I don't think it's a great listen all the way through. I think it's got some really great songs on it. But I think this album is way better. Flows great. Got some great. I didn't remember how good that Rain, Sun, Gone song is. Holy hell. That is a song and a half. And Forget to Remember as well. I'd forgotten how good that song is.
Yeah.
There's loads of good stuff on here. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised and reminded. And I favorited loads of the songs now, and they'll be going on. Nice. Regular play for me, because I'd sort of, forgotten this album a little bit. But I'm glad now that we've come back to it, because it's like, forgot how great these songs are, man.
Yeah.
And of course, Mudvayne are doing the circuits at the moment, so a possibility for Download 2026, definitely. And they will probably play Download in the future at some point, if it's not going to be next year, I would have thought. So it would be nice to get another chance to hear some of these songs live.
Yeah.
Which
definitely
will be fucking awesome.
Do you know, they've released 2 songs, haven't they? Hurt People. I don't think I was that keen.
I really liked that.
Agree. I haven't listened to...
Oh, I liked that.
Cool.
Have they done another one?
Yeah, another one called Sticks and Stones, which I haven't listened to yet. I was only about 2-3 weeks old now.
Oh, neither have I. No, I haven't listened to that either. I'll check that out.
I want to go back to that.
No, I really liked Hurt People. It had a real early Mudvayne vibe for me. I was like, oh, okay. All right, This has got something to it. But yeah, we'll see what Sticks and Stones is like. But I liked Hurt People. But yeah.
Cool.
Anyway.
Where are we going?
Anyway, moving on. So Mudvayne, very good. Excellente. Check it out. Let's move on to... Let's do the headliners from 2025. Let's do Korn and See You on the Other Side. So I've got here, because I've written a little piece about this before. So I've just changed it slightly, because I've done my whole video of Korn and all of their things. So in 2005, the sort of music landscape had changed a lot from the last time sort of Korn had a big album. The album before this, Take a Look in the Mirror, I think is Korn's worst album.
Oof.
One of their worst. No, second worst album. It's I think it's terrible. I know a lot of people love that album, but I think it's trash. There are some good songs on it, but the actual album tracks are, God, really not good.
We discussed that,
and obviously,
yeah, I think I kind of agreed with you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like it had some good tracks on it. It's got Y'all Got a Single on it. It's got a couple of other tracks on it, but I don't think it's great overall. And of course, at this point, Head had left the band. So for the first time ever, it was just Monkey doing the guitars without Head. And, it was like a big deal because Korn had never lost a member before. So it was like, wow, well, what are Korn going to do now? Similar to the last album, I think this was another sort of throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Like a lot of the tracks are quite different from each other. There's no real track consistency all the way through. They're kind of very different to each other, which I think is probably fine when you lose one of your main writers, is what you're doing. But it's definitely one of the band's most progressive albums. They worked with the pop producer The Matrix on this, who had produced loads of like weird pop stuff. So again, they were just trying to do something with their sound that they hadn't done before, which is fair play. I think it starts really, really well and ends really, really well, but it loses its momentum in the middle for me, this one. I think it kind of dies a little bit of a death in the middle. Not that anything's bad, it's just not very memorable. They're quite forgettable songs in the middle. So overall for me, a pretty good album. Not their worst, not their best. Kind of sits in the middle low end to me when it comes to Korn rankings, but it has some stonking tracks on it if you were to have a takeaway from this album. But weird transitional phase for the band. They didn't at this point really know what they were doing, and I think that this is sandwiched between their two worst albums. The album after this I think is their worst, and the album before this is their second to worst album. So really fucking weird time being a Korn fan, because I was obviously there for the releases of all of these albums.
Yeah.
So it was a very strange time to be a Korn fan. But Adam, what did you think of Korn See You on the Other Side?
I forgot how crap this album was. he was just taking a swig of his drink as I said that.
I nearly done a spit take. You nearly made me do a spit take. A genuine spit take.
So we talked about this album loads recently, especially like you said in our Korn episode, because they were headliners. I did not like any of the singles they brought out from this at all at the time. Coming Undone was awful. Okay. I shouldn't say awful. I did not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy Twisted Transistor. Right. It was weird. Right. Now, I have accepted that that's part of their history now, and I quite enjoy listening to them now, which is also weird.
Yeah.
Just at the time, I wasn't really keen on them. But this album made me ignore everything they did until Paradigm Shift. Literally, like,
wow.
It's only just kind of coming back to me. Although I don't know if I said it in the Korn episode, but like, so I have a Facebook memory that comes up every year. I don't look at them anymore because they're quite embarrassing sometimes. But yeah, when Paradigm Shift came out, I'm like, Korn, I have ignored you for 10 years. The first song from the latest album, you have won me back immediately. Like, we'll forget the last 10 years sort of thing. And now looking at the sort of the progression of albums, I'm like, yeah, I had no idea Untitled existed, or Korn 3, or The Path of Totality. I didn't even pay attention to them being released at all. It wasn't until someone told me about Paradigm Shift. Okay, so that's not 10 years. That's 8
it's still
years.
A long time.
But yeah.
Years.
Anyway, this album, I hate. I think I own it. I'm pretty sure I own it. I disliked so much. It put me off of Korn for ages. And
see, I mean, I have to agree that this whole bit, like the album before, this album, the album after, and then Korn 3, the album after that, it's not a good period for Korn. They're all pretty bad albums overall. They're not to the sort of standards that Korn were. And they only got back to having good albums on Path of Totality, which I think is a fucking cracking album. And then Paradigm Shift, and everything since has been gold almost.
Yeah.
So I can understand why people that would listen to Korn at this period at the time would have been like, I don't really see what the big deal is here, because it's their worst period by far. Some of the singles were good from these albums, but overall very, quite lackluster. They didn't really know what they were doing. They tried a few different things. They didn't work. So I can see why, and I'm totally with you, people didn't like this album. I still think it has some good tracks, but overall, It's not a great Korn album.
No.
I think that, yeah, like Twisted Transistor's great. I think Politics is a great song as well, the second track. I think that's underrated. Coming Undone's great. And this album does contain my most underrated Korn song, which is Liar, which I think is a fucking amazing tune, which they should play all the time. But apart from that, it's not great.
No.
So yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. Good singles, but yeah, a bad time for Korn in general. You know, late 2000s, early 2010s Korn is not a good time for Korn.
No. I think they were better when they did weird stuff in between songs, like on Issues. Like, it took me ages to work that out, and I was like, hang on. They do a song, and then a weird track, and then a song, and then a weird track, like, just with harmonics and stuff. And I'm like, that's better than a crap song, weird in between good songs.
Yeah, no, I totally.
Yeah.
I totally get what you mean. And they do, yeah, they tend now to do that less, but they do still do that. But I just think that their overall songwriting is better now. So they can kind of go, do you know what, guys, we're going to have 8 good tracks and maybe 1 or 2 little weird bits.
Yeah.
Probably just because they're more confident as a band and they don't really care what other people are thinking.
Maybe.
But yeah, like I get you. Like, yeah. Me and you have already said Issues is one of our favourites.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, let's talk about Korn. If you want to know what we think about Korn, go back. We have an entire episode where we talk about all their albums. We talk about Korn for like 2 hours. So if you're a big Korn fan and you're new to the podcast, go back and listen to the Korn Download 2025 episode. It's great. Right, next up, let's move on to another great band. We're going to be talking about Paradise Lost, which is weird to do a self-titled album for your 10th album. Because normally actually the first album's called Lost Paradise. So
Okay.
they done Paradise Lost, Lost Paradise, and now they do Paradise Lost, which can be very confusing. But yeah, anyway, let me get my notes. Yes, so here we go. So Paradise Lost. So this album is after a weird stage for Paradise Lost, I would say, but a good stage. Unlike Korn, the weird stage of Paradise Lost is one of their best stages.
Okay.
So this album is weird, right? So we'll get to it. So this album is a combination of where the band were. So for the last 6 years, in 1999, they had their feet in electronic goth. I mean, Host is just an electronic goth album, but it's fucking cracking. And in 2003, they went through their sort of new metal goth stage in 2003, Symbol of Life, which is one of their best albums. This one being neither as good as any of those records, in my opinion, but still a solid Paradise Lost album. And it's got some great tracks to pick from. I just don't think that overall it's as solid as those 2 albums, probably because they're just a lot more different than this is. But they kind of were trying to refine where Paradise Lost were going, a lot like Korn, obviously, but a lot earlier. So from like 1999 to 2007, they were literally just experimenting with throwing stuff at the wall to see what stick. But it was way more successful and better than Korn's attempt at doing it because they were just really good albums, as it turned out. But even at the time for this one, it took a few listens for me to gel with it because I'd been so used to them just being weird. I hadn't actually said Paradise Lost, we're just going to be Paradise Lost. So it was like, okay. So now you're just like but you're back to being a normal metal band again. This is kind of trippy because you've been 2 different things for the last 2 albums. So it was kind of weird in a different way. So they were just trying to figure out where they were musically. So that was happening for the majority of the 2000s. But I believe they built up to their crowning achievement. So I think this is sort of a step onto the way of, so this is great. The album after this is awesome. And then in 2009, they released Faith Divides Us, Death Unites Us, which I think is their crowning achievement of the 2000s. But so I think that their albums in the 2000s just get better and better and better and better, like as like an upward sort of trajectory. But nevertheless, I think this is a solid listen and has some absolutely cracking Paradise Lost songs on it. Adam, what did you think of Paradise Lost's Paradise Lost?
Cool. So I struggled with this one a little bit. I only had the chance to listen to it once, but I could tell that some of the songs were really good. But if I was more familiar with them, then I could see how sort of catchy they would be, and I probably would have enjoyed it way, way more. But yeah, just from the one listen, I'm glad I'm not the only one. You said it took you a few listens to actually get into it, and so it wasn't that I disliked it, but I was just like, you need to be familiar with this a bit more than I am to appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Even at the time, it took me 2 or 3 listens. Then I thought, actually, do you know what? There's some really great tracks on here. But I think that's just because everything before was so weird. But I think in the grand scheme of Paradise Lost albums, this is like a very much in the middle. It's not, I don't think it's the best. It's not the worst, without a shadow of a doubt. But I think if you were to listen to it 2 or 3 times, you would pick out some tracks that you're like, oh man, that track's so good.
Probably.
So it might be one in the future, if you're having a Paradise Lost listen, to go back and go, do you know what? Give that album another go. And then you'd be like, oh, actually, that's a really good song. Because, yeah, like my favourite tracks of this one, Grey. I think Grey, Redshift, Forever After, and Sun Fading are possibly 4 of the best Paradise Lost songs.
Okay.
And they're all in a run pretty much on the album. And it is like, holy hell, this is really good. I don't think this album has the best opening. I think that they could have, I think that we've spoken about this before. If you shifted the running order of this album around a little bit, I genuinely think it would be a better listen.
Okay.
I think that you could improve this album by just moving some of the songs around a little bit. Because you have to kind of, they're scattered around, but I still think if you moved them around, it would make the other songs better as well, depending on it, as a full listen.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because, like, you'd want to have the pacing different. You know, you want maybe slow songs in a specific spot instead of going, right, let's just have this album start really slow and then ramp up to fast at the end. You know, you do have to be thoughtful of that kind of thing.
You've hit the nail on the head there. You said pacing. That is exactly what this album hasn't got.
Yeah.
It's not paced properly. It's not in the right order. The pace isn't there to sort of keep you going and listening. It's kind of stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, which isn't a good listen from start to finish, but there are good songs within it, if that makes any sense.
And I think one interesting thing to think about from albums from this kind of time as well, I think, is it Jareth from Bowling for Soup? Jared?
I don't know.
Anyway, the singer of Bowling for Soup, people were asking for them to play like an album in full, either last year or the year before, and I saw a video of him saying, like, you don't want that. This is a time when iTunes was probably one of the biggest things people listened to, and if you didn't pay for it, you get like the first bit for free. So all the best songs are at the beginning of the album, and it's just crap at the end of the album. So they were like, we're not going to play that in full because most of it is crap. And obviously he's admitted to that. What other bands were probably doing a similar thing, or maybe trying a different approach. It's there's lots and lots of sort of psychological things in music, the music industry, in the albums that you might not be aware of, especially if you weren't around at this kind of time. Yeah,
totally. I'm with you. I mean, Paradise Lost have always been an album band, so I think that they would have been able to. And I saw a couple of the guys talking about their favourite Paradise Lost albums, and they said that they loved recording this one and doing it, but it didn't turn out quite as good as they were hoping it to come out. So, although, by the fans, decent album, everyone kind of likes it, just not, not top shelf Paradise, not as good as the band can be. But contains some great tracks that do show how good the band can be. But yeah, it's all about pacing, people. It's all about getting your album tracks in the right order. I've been fighting with that recently. I've changed the order of my album about 4 times. because I listen to it and I'm like, does that flow? Is that working? So I totally get, when albums like this don't work, and then afterwards you must be so annoyed thinking, man, we should have put that song first. Or
I bet it must be difficult to think about that as a creator, and try to think how consumers will take it, or how they will feel about it. And like, am I overthinking this? Am I underthinking it? Like, crap.
And then listen to it afterwards and going, why the fuck didn't we put this song first? Like, but you're in a completely different mindset then, and I'm sure the guys listen back to it and go, it got some good songs there, but what the hell are we putting that first for, or last, or you know, whatever order it's in. But anyway, Paradise Lost fans will probably be aware of this. If you want to check it out, it's very good. Although I have got a very good Paradise Lost playlist that I've already put in the Discord, so and a lot of these songs are on it because
it is also in the episode description now. I forgot to put it in there, even though about 20 minutes before putting the episode out, I messaged you asking for the link to the description because you said it in the episode, and I forgot to put it in. And then it wasn't until Rob from the Outpost Project messaged and said, "Yeah, where's that playlist?" I was like, "Crap, let's put it in." So it'll be in here as well. It'll be in the episode description as well.
Good. Right, let's move on. Let's move on to Trivium's Ascendancy. So, like we were saying earlier, like the Big Bang, these guys just came from nowhere, and all of a sudden, we're fucking everywhere. It was Bullet and Trivium were just like, I don't know. It's like the world algorithm just said, we're going to create this band and just slot it into everyone's everyday life. And these people didn't exist before or anything. It's like, what the hell? Where did it come from? Or it was like a glitch where it's like these bands were supposed to like have like an evolution of getting big, but then the system glitched and it just put the album out, and everyone was just like, whoa, they're big already. They were supposed to work up to this. So weird. So I've got here, they were suddenly
hitting the nail on the head there. Like, that would make absolute sense. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. Just gone. There is no understatement that if you were around at the time and you were a fan of metal, this band was fucking everywhere. You could not escape this band. They were on Kerrang, they were on Scuzz, they were on festivals. They'd been tipped by Ozzy to be the next big thing in metal. I mean, in the magazines, they were all over the fucking place. You could not escape Trivium or Bullet at this current time. It was just like, it's hard to describe quite how everywhere this band was. But this is a fantastic first album. I mean, for any band in any decade, and we keep liking it to Bullet because these albums do go hand in hand. It's very hard to come out with something that's this good as your very first thing you do. Some bands, they do their first big thing, they platter off. Some bands work up to their biggest things. But yes, to make an album this good for your first album is pretty astonishing. And me and Adam have talked about their Download 2005 performance before and how much of a sort
Incredible.
of, I don't know, it's such a milestone even now in the sort of world of metal, and talk about putting a band on the map. And yeah, it's just crazy that actually happened, and the band was huge. But very good. It's great that, a lot like Bullet, metal can have one foot in the old and then one foot in the sort of contemporary sounds of the time, but yet sound as fresh as it is brand new, even though basically what they're doing is rehashing stuff that's done before and putting a little sort of modern spin on it, but making it very cool. I mean, if you were to put on this record Matt's vocals on a death metal record, you would not lose a step. I mean, his vocals are pretty fucking insane. And, we've been through the memes, we've been through the YouTube videos. I mean, there was nothing really kind of like this in the metalcore metal kind of thing at this time. They really were doing stuff that was quite different, really long guitar solos, long proper metal length songs with your metalcore screaming and clean vocals, which is just incredible. That's why everyone sort of went to them at the time. But yeah, it's a staple metal album. I mean, we celebrated it at Bloodstock this year, a lot like Bullet. They were doing the Bullet Trivium shows together, celebrating the 20 years. I think that people now still resonate with this album and the songs, and they still love it, and they still sell out shows playing this album in full, even 20 years later. I mean, it is a fucking stonker of a metal album. Adam, what do you think of Trivium Ascendancy?
Absolutely incredible. I cannot top anything you just said. Although I will say, upon listening to it again, I think it drops a little bit a couple of times. It didn't hold my full attention in a way that Bullets did. I was like, every song, maybe because I've listened to it so many times, it could possibly be that. But like Bullet, it was like every song, bang, 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 10 out of 10. This one, like I said, it dropped a couple of times. I lost my concentration of what I was listening to. And yeah, just kind of, so I listened to them back to back as well, of course, because that's how you're supposed to do it. It's a bit like Bryan Adams and Bon Jovi, Bullet, Trivium, the same thing. Well, I was so interested in making a joke, I've forgotten what the fuck I was going to say. Yeah, I listened to them back to back. But yeah, I felt like there was a couple of songs that like I wasn't that familiar with, even though I've listened to this album tens of times, which is weird. Maybe I always lose my concentration at that point because it drops a little bit.
But you didn't remember that you do.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay. I mean, I do agree. I think The Poison is a better album than this. Like, I think that it's a great album, but I do think The Poison is a better album than this. A lot of people will probably disagree with us on this, but yes, I do think The Poison is better than The Ascendancy. Yeah. Personally.
And what you said a minute ago about not being able to get away from this album, yeah, I completely agree. I think from sort of taking a guess from my sort of circle of friends and the people I knew at gigs at the time, there was a certain maybe gatekeeping around Bullet for My Valentine. Everybody into metal loved this album. Not everybody loved Bullet because maybe like a little bit of gatekeeping, or people didn't want that image because it was a little bit more emo than Trivium. Trivium felt more thrash, I would say, and thrash was cooler than emo. So, like, a lot of people did like the Bullet, but not everyone.
I think it was the fans. I think that just the emo fans resonated more towards the Bullet because it was a bit closer to that.
Yeah.
Maybe than the Trivium was. But I mean, I liked Trivium a lot, but I was definitely more of a Bullet fan than a Trivium fan. Even now, but I really do like Trivium a lot. They've got a lot of fucking amazing songs, but I'm definitely more of a Bullet guy than a Trivium guy.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because I was able to let the emo in, whereas some metalers were like, oh, fuck Bullet for My Valentine, man. It's not metal. I mean, it clearly is metal.
Yeah.
Because they've got breakdowns and riffs and heavy guitars and screaming and guitar solos. So it is metal. Yeah. It invited in a little bit more of the emo that was around at the time. I mean, there's not a lot of it in there. It's just sometimes in the cleans, and the vocals are, the lyrics are a little bit more emo than they are on Trivium's. Although, if you read some of the Trivium lyrics, they are very, very similar in the same sort of vein.
Okay.
I mean, Dying in Your Arms is basically a emo song, so...
Okay, yeah.
I
don't know lyrics. Apart from Boat Rudder Strange Mountain, as we all know.
But it's still a good album, great album. You should listen to it. I know a lot of people out there bloody love this album, but I think that if you've never heard it all the way through, I think you should give it a whirl.
Yeah.
And see what you think, and maybe do what Adam done and listen to Bullet for Valentine, Poison, and this back to back.
Yeah, still a great album. But it's still the only Trivium album I've listened to.
Really?
Well, I've listened to others after you've told me to. But yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I think they've got. Even though this is the one that everyone loves, I think they've got better albums than this.
Okay, I should check them out more.
Yeah, I think they've got better albums than this. But it was a milestone album, so everyone loves it. And I get that totally. Right, let's move on to Static X. Start a War. And again, Static X played Bloodsuck this year and are playing festivals next year, and I think they're probably going to be on the download lineup somewhere, I would have thought. So I'm sure we'll be talking about them again if they are.
Yeah.
And they are bloody brilliant live. Anyway, so Static X Start a War. So after their really popular album, The Only, a little bit more commercial sounding than Machine that came before it. Not that it was commercial music, it seems to have less screaming and just be a little bit more ironed out. And I know that after that album, and they kind of had a little bit of disagreements with the sort of big record labels they were on. They were still on a big label at this point, but they kind of said to them, look, we want to go back towards being more aggressive with the songs. And I do like The Only as an album. I think it's really good. But it is just a little bit more refined. Where this one, they were like more screaming, more riffs, more a bit of insanity from Wayne Static, I think, on this album. And I think that's exactly what this album is. It's a little bit ludicrous in parts and weird and really good at the same time. So the guitarist had left by this point, the guitarist that they had on Machine and The Only, and Koichi Fukada, I think that's how you pronounce his name, came back on this album. So he was on Wisconsin Death Trip, the first album, then left, but then came back in the band for this, and he's been in the band ever since. I think they gave them a sort of new lease of life to say, let's write some really aggressive just good songs again. And it's got like a really sort of back to basics execution and sound on this one. If you listen to the Only, which is really, I don't want to say overproduced, but you can tell it's a record on a major label. And then you listen to this, and this kind of sounds like less refined, more back to basics sort of recording and production. But I think it's a really good album overall, and I think it has some of the band's best songs on it. I'm not saying it's the best Static X album, but it's definitely up there, and it has some absolute corkers and some pretty mental moments. Adam, what did you think of Static X's Start a War?
Okay, so yeah, I went into this with the mind of I was going to really, really enjoy it. Similar to last episode when I listened to the Fear Factory album, and what was the other? Rammstein's as well, which both of those industrial bands I'd never heard the albums, and I really enjoyed them. So I assumed this was going to be the same. It was just going to sort of take me by surprise, and I'm not as a bigger, I wouldn't say hater, but non-fan of industrial as I thought. But nothing really excited me about this. I listened to it a couple of weeks back now, and I was looking this morning about sort of what I didn't have as much to say about, just looking through the list, and I was like, okay, let's try Static X again. Listen to it, walking to work, got about 4 or 5 songs in, and I was just like, it's not exciting me at all. I'm not interested in any of this, I'm afraid. I didn't get through it this morning. I was like, do you know what? I'm listening to Story of the Year again.
What a mark. That surprised me because you were surprised by how much you liked the others. You obviously clearly don't dislike industrial metal as much as you thought you did. And this is probably a weird place to start with Static X.
Okay.
If you're just going in dry, because it's a bit strange. It's a bit of a strange album. If I was to recommend you a Static X album to listen to, first of all, it wouldn't be this one.
Okay.
So I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's a good album that has a lot of good stuff on it, but you need context for this album. I feel like you need to listen to like the first 1 or 2 and then go to this one, and then you'll be like, oh, I get it now.
Okay.
I'm on board. I understand. So it's one of those kind of albums. So I can understand why you wouldn't like it on a listen, because you're probably a bit like, not so sure about this one. So I get that totally. But I think that it has some amazing songs on it, some amazing Static X songs. The Enemy, The Starter, which is incredible. I'm the One, Start a War, Just in Case, I Want to Fucking Break It, Night Terrors, which is probably one of my favourite Static X songs, and the absolutely insane Ostigo Amigo, which is, I don't even know how to explain that song to anyone, but if you want to listen to a mental metal track that is completely bonkers, listen to Ostigo Amigo and you will be like, what the fuck is this? Really good, but I can see why you were not entertained by this album, and I get it.
Okay.
But if you're a fan of Static X, go and check it out. It's really good. And finally, we shall end on an emo note. We shall end with Funeral for a Friend's Hours. And I think me and Adam have said previously about our love for Funeral for a Friend. So here we go. So this is the band's second album. The first album had been a huge hit. They kind of come from nowhere, although I do own the EP that they done before the first album. So I kind of knew about them, and The Art of American Football, that song kind of did a little bit of a dent before their first album came out. So I think a lot of people in the underground scene especially knew who they were and what they were about. But that first album, critics loved it, fans loved it. It was everywhere. They were really great. Second album syndrome is a big thing with bands. If you've had one huge album, it is very hard to do your next album and actually get anywhere near what you've done, or because that album is, blown up, which is an older term to say it pretty much went viral back in the day.
Yeah.
But blown up, when albums back in the day blew up, it was like the album had gone viral pretty much. But in this case, it's arguably and probably debatable if it's better than the first album or not. I think that a lot of people would probably say that the first 2 albums are their favourite, and they would debate whether Hours is better than the first album. And I think there's a strong case to say this might be better, or to say that the first album's better. I'm not actually sure which one's better because I can't make up my mind. But yeah, the first one had that sort of unsigned charm. It was just a little bit more sort of underground sounding. This one's sort of a little bit more defined, a little bit more polished. The songs sound like they've sat for a little bit. They've had a little bit more time to work on them. But this is an absolute 10 out of 10 album. It is, Funeral for a Friend are a massive influence for so many bands within that genre. And you can hear Funeral for a Friend in bands like Holding Absence, for instance, now are pretty much like, the cousins of Funeral for a Friend. So if you are a fan of Holding Absence, you will love Funeral for a Friend. There's no two ways about it. It's basically an older version of Holding Absence and vice versa. Probably one of the best vocal performances in any emo album. I think that the vocals in this album, you could stand up with My Chem albums, anything within the emo core genre. Holy hell, his vocals are unfucking believable on both albums, but especially this one, just because they're a bit more refined. But musically, really great, really catchy, amazing hooks. I don't think this drops off for a second from start to finish. Fucking incredible. Adam, what do you think of Funeral for a Friend Hours?
So I had listened to this album, but again, only because you basically told me I had to. Before that, Casually Dressed was the only album of theirs I listened to, and I absolutely loved it. Never went back for seconds, basically. But yeah, I felt this one was a much slower album. I completely agree with you. I probably couldn't have put it into as nice of words as it just felt more polished. The songs felt like they'd been sat for a while and they'd worked on them more and got them smoother. Whereas the first album is like jagged. You don't really know what's coming next to start with. And it's like, oh, this is cool. And this is cool. But yeah, the second album, I felt like it was a lot slower in some parts. And some people will probably love that. Maybe it took me by surprise a little bit. Maybe I was expecting more songs like from the first album. So on a subsequent listens, I might enjoy it a bit more. But I didn't not enjoy it, but it just wasn't what I would have wanted from a second album from them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not what I was expecting you to say. I thought you would fall in love with this album because, I don't get the slow thing. I think it does have a couple of slow tracks, but I don't think that slows down the album at all.
Okay. I'll have to listen
From being a fan of the first and second albums, I think that it's got a great opener. The first few tracks are really energetic. Then they have a slow track. Then it picks up again. And then they have a slow track right at the end. So, I don't get that from this album. But compared to the first album, which does have a slow song at the end, they only have that bit that's kind of slow. So I can see why it feels that way. But I think it's like a 2-half album. You have that first bit where it's all energy. Then you have that slow track. And then it's all go again right till the end. So maybe if you listen to it with that mindset, maybe if you listen to it that mindset, you might go, oh yeah, it's kind of like in a cinema, like if you're watching, I don't know, one of those really old 3-4 hour movies, and they have to have an interlude in the middle.
Yeah.
If you treat it like that, maybe you'll be like, oh okay, I get this now. I have to slow down and take a breather on this bit.
Yeah,
and then I can pick up again and do it, but. Yeah, so that surprised me because I thought right off the bat you would love this. And like this has some of their best singles on it, and I thought that you would have been a fan of those at the time.
No,
as well.
No, I wasn't. Which were their singles from it? So look at this.
Rose, A Streetcar was one of the biggest singles. No, Roses for the Dead was an absolutely massive single.
Yeah.
Monsters was a huge single as well.
Yeah.
No, I can't believe that they were all. They were all on heavy. It was heavy rotation on Scuzz and Kerrang. So I'm really surprised that being a Funeral for a Friend fan, you didn't hear these on those platforms and go, oh yeah, they got a new song out.
I don't know why. That was. It's weird.
That's so
because
weird.
I loved
so
the
weird.
first album so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that is really strange.
It is strange. I need to listen to it again, I think, because I feel like when I listen to it, I put a lot of concentration into it. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is what this album's like. A bit slower, not for me. as much as the first album, and you've just gone, well, it's not like that. Well, what the fuck was I doing then? So yes,
Yeah.
I will go and listen to it again, and I'll report back some other time when people ask me. Maybe next week, maybe next episode.
Okay.
If I listen and I completely change my mind, I'll come back next time and go, yeah, I was wrong.
I do have actually a recommendation from their discography. I recommend 2008's Memory and Humanity.
Okay.
I think that is their third best album.
Okay. What?
So
How many albums did they do?
I think that you. Oh, they got loads.
Are they? Let's have a look. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the last one was
loads.
what? 20. Yeah, last one was 2015.
I thought they only had the one before this episode. It's only one album guy.
You really are, aren't you?
I can be.
But they got a few good albums like Tales Don't Tell Themselves, the one after this Hours, that's really good, which has some really great songs on it. But yeah, I like Memory Humanity.
Into Oblivion was
third.
good, yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. Into Oblivion was good. Walk Away's good as well. They got loads of good songs. But anyway, yes.
Yeah.
Very good band. And they were absolutely incredible at Download in 2004. 2004? 2024 rather. When they headlined that second stage. My God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That's what made me lose my voice on that first day. Because I've sung every single... Ben Chids was next to me and he just turned around and he goes, I never knew you were this much of a funeral for a friend. He's like, you're singing every single word. I was like, dude, I love this band. I just don't talk about how much I love this band enough.
Yeah.
But I think he was a bit flabbergasted, like, how the fuck do you fucking knows all the words to all these songs? But they were great. They were really good. Did you watch them?
Yeah, but I think we were a little bit too far back, I think. I couldn't see a lot. I think it sounded pretty good, but yeah, I could barely see what was going on the stage. I think we were just backed a bit further than the walkway, the path.
Yeah, we were quite far forward, so we were in the mix. But anyway, yeah, stonking album. It's a 10 out of 10 for me personally. I think one of the best emo/emo-core albums ever, along with the first album. So definitely go and check out Funeral for a Friend Hours if that's your sort of thing. You will not regret it.
Yeah.
And that's it from me. That is all of our albums, and we have whizzed through those, but really, really good listens overall. And I like a lot of those albums. Some of that, so yeah, a couple in there that are but mostly, for the most part, pretty damn good.
Yeah. I liked even albums that I wasn't too keen on. I like listening to new stuff. I have liked listening to new stuff for a while now. For such a long time, I wouldn't listen to any new stuff, but it was like. Now I get excited hearing the old stuff because I haven't heard that for such a long time though. Like I was saying at the beginning with El Nino coming on, there was a couple of weeks back. The similar thing happened. Got to the end of an album, and then it was like El Nino came on, Spineshank came on, all those old stuff, and I was like, I haven't listened to this for ages. Whereas before, I was listening to those all the time anyway. So it's nice to listen to new stuff, and then it makes me appreciate the old stuff a bit more as well.
I this is a whole new you. If you guys are listening and you've listened to this podcast from the beginning, or even if you haven't, this was a very stubborn musical man when we first started. Okay, he'd been listening to the same Iron Maiden playlist for about 6 years, I think.
Yeah,
and now he is excited by it. It's broadening. Even if he doesn't like it, it's broadening his musical horizons, which is amazing, dude. That's exactly what I get from music, and now you're getting the same thing from it as well.
Yeah,
which is just brilliant. That we, you listening to stuff and me listening to it means I'm listening to it and you're listening to it. I'm hearing stuff I haven't heard in years. I'm hearing stuff that I haven't heard before. You're doing the same, and it's nice that we can just sit down and then just discuss what we heard, whether we like it or we don't like it. So that's why I said to you before, I really missed doing these episodes because it brings so much out in us and me and you having a connection because we're just sitting here discussing music.
Yeah. It's incredible. And I don't know if you feel the same as I did. Maybe you do, and maybe that's another reason. But hearing you talk about an album that I absolutely loved and I've listened to for such a long time, I started to get sort of goose pimples a little bit. Like you saying how much you enjoyed it. So like, hang on, that's 9 albums that I've done that to you. Like, and you've done it to one for me.
Yeah.
That's cool. I felt pretty good that showing you something that I like that you appreciated.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, I really liked it.
Awesome.
Really liked it a lot. But yeah, anyway.
Okay, so
back to you, the main presenter.
Back to me. So I'm going to propose something now. Then I think we actually missed these episodes last year. I think it was like getting close to Christmas time. We were trying to do them towards the end of the year. I said it recently. You know the score. I think we should do the 3 episodes to catch up from last year and put them out to Patreons.
Okay.
Yeah. Just pretend it is 2024. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to our past selves. I like that.
And so we'll still do those episodes from last year, and we'll put them out to Patreon.
Okay, I'm up for that.
We're trying to do that a little bit more. We have to say a huge thank you to our Patreons because they are massive legends. Anyway, and we've been trying to think of what else we can do for you. So I mean, extra episodes is a great idea. There'll be full episodes as well. Hopefully, at some point we'll have to work out when we can do them. But yeah, we'll definitely get those out to you.
Yeah. Well, we're taking the time now. We're doing more for the patrons. We're taking the time to do small little bits here and there. We've done some videos. We got some other stuff we're going to do. So we're definitely, the patrons are definitely getting their money's worth at the moment, which is great. And if we can do some full episodes, and if we go back and do those 3, I think it's worth paying for those 3 alone because we're going to be doing exactly what we've been doing now. So yeah.
Yeah. So if you have been pondering about the Patreon, I guess maybe it's probably not the right word. But yeah, we do have a Patreon. You probably hear us say it every episode, but we have several different tiers. We have a £5 tier, which gets you a festival wristband and a patch, I believe. I need to check it because it's been a little while since I updated it. So I will be updating these, but yes, you will get free stuff if you sign up to Patreon. If you sign up to the £8 tier or the £10 tier for a specific amount of time, you'll be able to read it in there. You'll become part of the T-shirt. It's a bit too late for this year's now, but you can get on next year's festival T-shirt. If you want more information on that, you can come and ask us or go or have a look at our page. Did we put it on Patreon? I'm not sure if we put it on Patreon. Anyway, never mind. But yeah, so and like we said, now we are doing extra episodes as well. Just like Simon just said before, I think it was like we didn't have as much time, but my kids are growing up a bit more now. They don't need me as much as they used to. I didn't have to be sort of constantly making sure they're not killing themselves. So yeah, they're cool. They're growing up. They're doing their own things a bit more. So yes, we have a bit more time until Simon's kid starts to be able to do stuff that might hurt himself. Yeah.
I mean, he's already doing that.
Yeah.
We've already had to tell the nursery, we're not beating this child.
Really?
Okay. He loves to walk into stuff. Like anything this kid can hit his head on, he will hit his head on it.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's just an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
You'll just be sitting there and you'll be like, okay, one thing in this room I don't want him to hit his head off. Okay, I know what it is. Put him down. That's it. He'll head straight for that thing, mate. He's a fucking lunatic.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I was saying, at the minute we are able to do a little bit extra for you guys. So we're doing as much as we can when we can. So yes, we do have to say a massive thank you to those legends who are Duncan Scott, Joe Butler, Mike Ferris, Andy Taylor, Liam Hopwood, Tom West, Ethan Brown, Matthew, Chris Henderson, Scoot, Henry Richardson, Chris Hambridge, Alexander Toon, and James. All of you, we love you all. Thank you so much for your support. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we leave? Anything else at all?
I will mention my newest video that's coming out, that will be out by this time, about a certain festival that doesn't exist anymore that we don't normally speak about on this show.
Ooh.
So yeah, a little music history for you about that one. So go and check it out if you haven't already. Very interesting subject to cover.
Very nice. That'll do quite well as well, I believe. I think it will.
I hope so. Fucking better do.
Very nice. Looking forward to that. That's normally part of the plug. Do you want me to say plug stuff or?
No, that's it.
That's all you got to plug.
I'll just mention it again. I am very excited about my album finally being done. I've worked very hard on it, so I will be promoting the absolute shit out of that album once it comes out on my YouTube and fucking I'm just gonna annoy people into listening to
Yeah.
it. I wish I could do a U2 and just put it on everyone's Spotify and they can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
But that you know, that's what I'm spending the majority of my time doing at the moment. But yeah, anyway, that's
Yeah.
what I'm the most excited about.
Are you
But
gonna?
I'll let everyone know. And of course, Butlins Weekender, I'll be putting all the stuff out about that as well in the next couple of days. And then everyone should jump on it because I wanted to get it all sort of out before everyone gets paid. I know it's not much money to book it, but you know, everyone can start booking now. So we all make sure we get a place in the same apartments and all that shit. But I'll sort all that. I'm going to be the main booker. So what I'll probably do is get people to send me the money and I'll book everything. So.
Oh, you sure? That would drive me nuts.
Yeah. No, but then I know because we all want to be. Like, some people want to be separate in their own rooms, but me and you will want to be in the same apartment,
Of
right?
course.
And maybe a couple of other people want to be in the apartment with us.
Yeah.
So, So
For those people, remember we do have a £2,500 tier on Patreon.
if you do that, you can pay for everyone's trip to Butlins, plus spending money if someone gets the 2,500, and I will come and stay with you before Butlins and get you nice and warm. It's very cold at the moment, so if you need someone to lie in bed and watch Star Trek: The Next Generation with, I'm your man.
Your man. Excellent. What the fuck was I about to say? God. What was I saying? It was going to be good. It was going to be really good. Nope. Anyway.
No.
You talked about Butlins. Okay, cool. All right, anyway. Well, that's gone. We should probably go. We should probably go too.
Okay, we'll go.
So it's a goodbye from Simon.
Goodbye.
And a goodbye from me. Goodbye.